So we take these bigger-than-life characters and we give them very lifelike qualities and problems, and that had never been done in comics before, you see.
Keep going!
These words of Stan Lee echoed throughout Marvel Comics and shaped how we see each and every one of them today.
No man is perfect. Not even your father.
Yet there's this character that I feel has had this ideal and shaped it into a global idealism of what it means to push against the social conservatism and to unite a community. I'm talking about the leader of Wakanda, T'Challa, formerly known as Black Panther, and with the success of his first ever cinematic movie, it's time to dive into the code of what magic Black Panther brought into a fuller story of Black culture and identity. Across the country, as people take the streets, a new class of superhero was joining the fight, at which Marvel introduced Black Panther and Falcon, the first black superheroes at the height of the civil rights struggle. When Black Panther first appeared in Fantastic Four issue 119, the Black Panther briefly tried using the name Black Leopard to avoid consultations with the party, but the new name did not last, and that's when it hit me. The name. Why was Black Panther's name so meaningful? Why did it capture people's hearts so easily? Well, as we all know, Black Panther is based off the animal Black Panther, but Black Panthers typically in Asia and Africa are leopards, formerly known as Panther pardus in Latin. The leopards that we see go through a development called melanism, of the dark colored pigment melanin in the skin or its appendages, and is the opposite of albinism. This rare trait gives the leopards the title of Black Panther, which in Wakanda, the Black Panther is a ceremonial title given to the chief of the Panther tribe. In addition to ruling the country, he is also chief of its various tribes collectively referred to as the Wakandians. The Panther habit is a symbol of office or head of state and is used even during diplomatic missions.
Didn't I keep it under wraps that the king of a third world country runs around in a bulletproof catsuit? I'd say we were even.
The Panther is a hereditary title, but one must still earn it. It's this meaning behind its name why it works for those who feel indifferent. The title's not simply just given, it's earned, which established those who wanted change, who wanted rights, a sense of power. When T'Challa is given the title Black Panther, he's not just given a suit. He's given a symbol for those to not only reach power, but to fight for it as well, showing that there is a title to earn. The journey is hard, but once reached, there's no stopping the driving force, because even the simple word as black and Black Panther carries strong meaning. Black is the color that rules over all colors because it's the color that is created by the previous colors, defining in symbolism. A rule over all colors or king. Even if you take the name on a spiritual level, the Black Panther represents the fear that lives inside you, the fear of situational outcomes, people, life, and even success. It would make sense of this deception in the astral plane when T'Challa confronts his father's dark past. The fear of his ancestors' old ways of thinking doesn't work for the new world, for those who have been abandoned or forgotten. You see, all these traits, all these meanings coincide with the name, but we have to remember that even the title represents those who are troubled. Goes without saying that the Black Panther wouldn't exist without its people behind it. The Black Panther as a whole exists for its culture, of its rich history that made it flourish to coexist within its very being that creates a symbiotic relationship, meaning Black Panther represents the culture, while the culture defies him, resulting him as the top of his strength. It defies the notion of the most prominent example of Afrofuturistic art in recent years, in part because of the money and widespread distributions behind it, but also because it's the most potent. You see, within the fiction of Black Panther, Wakanda is a nation untouched by Western influence at any point in history, representing the people of post-colonial Africa that had been allowed to exist and advance on their own terms. But Wakanda is also untethered to any specific African ethnoculture, thus allowing it to be collective reclaiming of pan-African identity for those on the global African diaspora uprooted centuries ago. It is both Afrofuturism as contemporary African achievement, displaying non-white, non-Western symbolism in its design, as well as Afrofuturism in the context of Black America. It transforms a stolen history into a portrait of sci-fi heroism through a character whose superhero mantle is not a thematic externalization of psychosis disconnected from real identity, as is the case with most superheroes in Western individualistic paradigm.
He's a symbol. We don't have to be afraid of scum like you.
Yeah, you do, Brian. You really do.
You see, take for example on Batman's case was the sole creation of Bruce Wayne, a white man who came from old money but had little reason to connect white readers to their roots. The Black Panther, on the other hand, was passed down through unbroken generational lineage, a luxury rarely afforded to African American readers. It is the Western superhero remixed and reclaimed as a symbol deeply rooted culture and tribal identity. Yet T'Challa couldn't have done this without those pushing him from behind, such as his tech-savvy genius sister Shuri. It is noted that Shuri has paved the way for many of the technological advances seen in the film, and she is regarded as an innovator, inventor, and distributor. Naturally, her laboratory is overflowing with incredible tech. Perception designed a wide range of digital displays and other tech seen throughout Shuri's laboratory, including a paranomic wall that shifted hues to match her attire. Shuri and her strongest right is the back of the Black Panther. Her support is the driving backbone for characters such as T'Challa to defy the culture of how the perception of minorities can evolve. This is why she is the backbone, because she is that evolution for the Black Panther to thrive. However, while T'Challa is the face of what we all could have become in the story of Black Panther, there are those who can become warped by the idea about what it means to be Black Panther, and another road for those if consumed by their own ideas. You see Killmonger being a big example, and while his cinematic version is different from his comic version, the idea they share to the core are the same. His imperialistic vision for Wakanda's future pulled him from noble ideas of Black liberation, but mutated into self-serving methods of revenge, clashed violently with the nation's long-standing isolation ideology. But there's something specifically sympathetic in Killmonger's madness, which is why so many have resonated with him already. His backstory is immediately tied to the generational trauma and isolation imposed on many Black communities in the Disparia. I mean, this would make sense seeing how the actor Michael B. Jordan had to go see therapy after playing the character because of how intense and real the character was. Killmonger represents that intensity when Africans were forcefully enslaved by white colonizers and transported to the United States. They passed through what is now sometimes referred to as the Door of No Return. The door represents the distribution of historical and cultural continuity these Africans first experienced in slavery, and the trauma that has been unwittingly passed down to their descendants ever since. The diversity of modern Black identity outside of Africa exists on the other side of the door, forever divorced from its origins, but the cultures tied to legacies of these enslaved Africans have also transferred past the point of colonization and trying to recounsel their present identities with Africa now. Diasporic communities often long for Africa they cannot return to. In turn, the continent struggles to embrace its lost people who are now strangers despite a shared past. Killmonger is the side of those in minorities, of those who could become if pushed to the edge. He is the other coin of T'Challa, of what he could have become if consumed by his title, as I stated before, the fear that lurks in him. These very existence mirror our choices of those of color that can, will, or choose to become. And this is why Black Panther exists, why his world exists, because without him or the others coexisting with the Wakanda King, those with eternal strife cannot find a sense of purpose or longing, or don't believe that there's a goal beyond a goal, which is why being a character such as Black Panther, Killmonger, Shuri, and the Dora Milaje all have a role to play, because they are the perfect spectrum of what it means to be Black, and I believe it's here to stay, without any signs of it leaving anytime soon. Well, that's going to do it for this review, guys. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. All the support will be greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys in my next review. Until then, take care.